Everyone. Once again, it is the Sideline Junkies Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs coming to you live from wherever, giving you news about whatever, and doing it in the best way possible. And joining me tonight, as usual, is the big guy, KG. Stronger than cancer, I get it. And the people's choice, Don Rodriguez.
This guy.
And going ahead and getting started tonight, before we get into anything, first thing I want to bring up is our condolences in the passing of the marvelous one, Mr. Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
Who the ESPN just reported about 7:45 tonight that his wife announced that he had passed away in their home here this evening. Mr. Hagler, being a very prominent boxer in his time, especially around the late 70s and early 80s. He had a professional. I'm looking here. I had it here in front of me, but I need to find it again. I wanted to give out his record. He had. Hold on a moment. Let me get it back. He made the International Boxing Hall of Fame and the World Boxing Hall of Fame in 1983. You know him for boxing folks like Sugar Ray Leonard. Let's see. Y'all can help me out here. Y'all don't have to be silent.
No, we let you put in that work.
Tommy Hearns.
Okay.
Roberto Duran.
Go ahead. Okay.
Hearns Hagler has to be one of the most brutalist fights in boxing history. For somebody as tall and as lanky as Tommy Hearns to punch as hard as he did, and then you have Marvin Hagler, stout, muscular, could probably knock a bull out if he swung hard enough. That was the most brutal boxing match ever.
Oh yeah,
and not to mention the times that him and Ray Leonard fought. And I'll never forget the story of Ray Leonard. You know, they would wait. The strategy was wait till the clock got down to 30 seconds at the end of the round, and they yell out 30 seconds, and he just bah, 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 and then he run for him from the rest of the round. 30-second flurry, and that was it. Said Hagler got so pissed, he told him in the middle of the fight, as he was running, he said he got him in a clinch and told him, "Fight me, little bitch." That was Hagler. Hagler was a stand in the middle of the ring, beat you senseless type boxer. Right. Not one of those pretty boys that want to run around and showboat. Now, Ray Leonard could stand in the middle of the ring and tear you up too. But Hagler was a brawler. And it's sad to hear this news. I mean, I just heard it like literally right before I walked in the door. So condolences to his family.
And I found it, and I found what I was looking for. He wrestled 67 times and over a 14-year career. Finished up with a 62-3-2 record with 52 knockouts.
So he was wrestling?
No, he was strictly a boxer. But I want to say
you said wrestler. You said he wrestled.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, this is a wrestling show, so
I know.
But I want to say that wasn't he a guest for a WrestleMania?
I think he was at a show, like something at the Garden, but I don't think he was a
I'm not saying he was involved in a match or anything. I'm just saying like
a feature. I mean, he may have been in the crowd, but I can't remember him like being somebody that they like. Hey, there's Marvin. I don't know. I'm trying to think back to it, but I can't recall.
Yeah, I
Looks like
could. I was trying to look
something.
it up, but I couldn't find anything. And but I swear I remember him being at least in the crowd and being shown at a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, KG, can you remember if he was in one of the Fight Night games? I don't remember him being in it.
I know he
Like
was in Knockout Kings.
he was in Knockout Kings. Well,
He
technically,
was
that's
definitely in Knockout Kings. Yeah,
that's fine.
because he was hard as hell to beat in Knockout Kings. I'm gonna say that now. Him and Evander Holyfield and Muhammad Ali were the hardest ones to beat.
Yeah.
And behind them is Sugar Ray Robinson. So you couldn't stand. You had to truly master the game and box when it came to those video games.
Right. So if somebody wants to go back a little bit in time, I guess you could probably get it on an emulator for your PC and get to see how tough he was if you wanted to play
Or
some Knockout Kings.
or you could just order it offline. I ordered Knockout Kings a couple months ago.
Yeah, but you gotta have the
Knockout
system
Kings
for it too.
2000. Oh, he needs a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation
Oh,
2.
you don't understand how hard those things are to get right now.
Oh, I got them. I got both
No,
of them.
sorry,
I'm trying
not
to
everybody.
link up and get a PS1. So
Not everybody balling like you with the fresh sleeve you got on. You know the 15 Hot Wheels you rocking. You know we can't even talk about your night because you know went the cheap route and supporting cancer. So you know you can't talk about the guy supporting cancer. So you kind of safe. It's messed up by the way.
And before we get into anything serious, I want to show my T-shirt game tonight.
Is there a story behind that one? Or
Oh
we just throwing
yeah,
out the forward?
we're gonna talk about it during our revolution talk early discussion. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So needless to say, because of how we like to do things, we're a week, almost a week to the day removed from Revolution, and that was some interesting things that happened. You know, we did our picks and stuff like that. We're not going to go too deep into all that as James gets ready to slice away and make it happen. But in the buy-in, we had Britt Baker and Mikey Ito beat Rio and Thunder Rosa, you know, by hook or by crook type of terms. Um, Death Triangle won the 15-team Battle Royal. Miro and Kip defeated Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. In the face of the Revolution ladder match, Scorpio Sky grabbed the literal brass ring, which I thought was hot and hilarious. And we had Ethan Page being the final entrant into the face of the Revolution ladder match. Hangman Adam Page beat Money Matt Hardy. Sting and Darby Allin, and we're gonna get into this in a moment, in their cinematic match, defeated Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. The Young Bucks retained their championships against Y2J and MJF, or Le Champion, if you want to call them that. But I just wanted to throw out and say Y2J. Hikaru Shida also retained against Ryo Mizunami. I'm fumbling over some of them Japanese words today. And last but not least, Kenny Omega defeated Mox in the exploding barbed wire death match. So, just wanted to give the groundwork for the pay per view so that way we can bypass all that and jump into straight in the middle. And then
wait.
What?
You got to get a Nubian Sumo his props.
I'm sorry, KG. How long have you been on the show? Is there anywhere in the contract where you would expect me to give the Nubian Sumo props? I'm just trying to figure that out.
He won the pay per view.
I'm sorry. You pole rod right now? What is going on here? Dang it, you wearing a cancer shirt. I can't talk about you.
I gotta give respect where respect's due.
No, you don't.
Only one that I got right that everybody else missed was the Young Bucks. That was it. That was it.
I wasn't trying to make it into, a thing. But yeah, whatever, James. Yeah, whatever. So, as I was saying,
Winner, chicken dinner.
yeah, you get no chicken, you get no dinner, no Popeyes, and I think they put the wax on your glass instead of your bottle. But
we'll get to that in a moment. But go ahead.
I at least want to cover the first thing, since KG out here playing Captain Saver, James.
Much respect to you, KG. Much respect to you. I appreciate that, sir.
Y'all holding hands
I
now?
gotta give respect where respect is due.
Y'all holding hands? Y'all planning on hugging later on? You gonna have your hands in each other's back pocket?
It's a mutual admiration society. That's what it is. Don't be jealous because you're left out.
I guess Whack recognized Whack, and y'all look pretty familiar to each other. But as I'm trying to get to, Sting,
hater,
Darby Allin, cinematic match. Since you the one on my screen, the one that is causing all this love fest that's going on tonight on the show, James, what is your thoughts on AEW's newest addition to the cinematic plethora of things that just happened during COVID times these days? Of the cinematic match.
One more thing. Nubian Sumo, baby!
Wrong show.
Boom! Anyway.
I'm mad he waited for you playing the song in your head, wasn't you? So that we can hit the boom on time. I'm mad about that. Wrong company, wrong show, wrong group of superstars. Go.
I actually enjoyed the cinematic match. I could see bits of Matt Hardy sprinkled along that whole match. Darby coming off of the second or third floor to that whatever that bridge was, and dropping that elbow on Brian Cage was sick. I mean, I knew that Darby would have to probably carry a lot of this match as far as a lot of the stunts that they were going to do, but that elbow and them hit Cage and Hobbs throwing him through that window pane. Those were sick. That was something else. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It came out better than I thought it would.
Okay. KG?
I got nothing. I'm just disappointed. I'll wait for the wrap up. I'm disappointed. So
no, you want to talk about this and get on camera. Stop hiding.
I was in the middle of something.
Yeah, we know. You're supposed to be in the middle of this show. Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
I'm trying. Look here.
Look, the man's trying to warm up his hot pocket. Leave him alone.
I know, actually, right?
I'm not. I got
making cereal for somebody. Get it together, man.
I actually got wings with salt, pepper, ketchup, mumbo sauce. So
you haven't.
Okay, well, I give you a pass on that then.
We're going to show everybody what we got. Show it to them.
You want to see it? You want to see it? You want to see it?
Show them the sauce.
That's what's left. That's what's left.
So you was off camera for how long? 3 seconds? You ate all that?
Wow, buddy.
Finish the fries, man.
Ain't nothing left.
Just go ahead and finish it on camera. If you're gonna do it, do it. Be true to yourself.
I am true to myself.
Mumbo sauce it up.
And yeah, I got some things to say to you before this show is over too. But Nah, I don't. I wanted to watch it on a replay, so I just watched snippets of it. I didn't. I was covering the All-Star game Sunday, so I didn't. I was gonna watch it on replay, but I was very disappointed with what I saw. So,
God daggone tragedy. Why are we disappointed?
Because the whole pay-per-view was overhyped and under-delivered. That's my opinion of the whole pay-per-view. And you did all this hyping up, and your mystery man was Christian.
What's wrong with Christian? That's a big thing.
Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, I get that, but you Hall of Fame.
I was just watching the network earlier today to watch Talking Smack and Raw Talk, and what was the funny thing I saw? A commercial for the Edge and Christian show season 2. I'm like, oh snap! That's not right. I'm not able to pull that stuff. Then Paul Heyman did make mention to all the Christians that were decided to just run away when things got tough before Roman Reigns decided to target them. So, that was an unofficial fourth wall break and a huge comment from the WWE, which, I'm quite sure Vince told him to put that in the ear, or he may have heard something about saying that once the show wrapped. But I think that was a smart play. Because you just got the Big Show. So that's a larger-than-life name, to say the least. And then you get Christian. Think back to when Christian was in TNA.
And they used his TNA music.
Yep.
They used his TNA music.
Thank you, Don Callis. Or Impact, or now. But thank you, Don Callis. So, I mean, he was no slouch in TNA. He was a great champion in TNA.
Not taking anything away from him. Not taking a thing away from him. But here's the thing that I have a problem with. You have so much young talent in the industry. You could have bigged up anybody.
Like who? Who would you want it to be?
Who did I want it to be?
One name.
That would have fit what they said as a WWE Hall of Fame worthy wrestler. Who would you have put in there?
Virgil. I don't know.
Virgil. Well, I'm going Virgil again.
Before we got to that point, but Virgil's going to the Hall of Fame. He ain't going nowhere.
No, but it's just, don't give me. I love Christian. I love Edge. I love Christian. I've always had. It's just TNA and not TNA. Geez, AEW is it's about to be a lot of talent on the street. From what we were talking about earlier this week, I don't know if you guys want to cover that tonight, but you can sign a lot of talent and you can crush WWE in ratings, merchandise, everything. If you go get this young talent that they're not using. They're not using Mustafa Ali right. They're not using Aleister Black at all. They're not using Ricochet.
But you still got non-compete clauses. So,
and I think that's the dumbest shit in the world. Let these people go make their bread.
That's never been WWE's MO. They go make you wait it out. Look at Brody Lee.
Yeah, if you don't want me, why stop me from making bread? Because you don't want me.
Hey, just like you said earlier.
It happened. You got a problem with the contract? That's fine. We're gonna keep you under contract and just you sit on the bench.
That's what
3 years, 1 year out.
And that's what they're doing to Andrade. They've already shut him down on his request to get released. So, I mean, yeah, that's what they do. I mean, Christian was lucky because he wasn't necessarily under contract. So he was just there for like a few appearances.
Yeah, he was under a temporary Legends deal. He would have got cemented if he would have went to the Hall of Fame, and then he would have been under a true Legends contract if he was offered one, which I'm quite sure Edge would have brokered and stuff like that.
But how do you not put? How is he not in the Hall of Fame? Is my question.
Well, because we've talked about it before. The Hall of Fame this year's going to be a little different because you really can't book it that way. But the Hall of Fame now is about revenue. It's about money. It's about selling out an arena with little to no interaction and all-star power. That's just the Hall of Fame revenue pays for Raw. So one hand is washing the other. That's all that is. It's a money grab. You're gonna have your headliner, your sub headliner. They're gonna pack the seats, and you just fill the rest of it with people. So that way, now not saying it's not deserving and stuff like that, but it's about money. This year's
So
gonna
what you're
be
telling
different
me is,
because you got 2 years worth, and how are they gonna work this out? I have no idea. What are you gonna say?
what you're telling me is Edge and Christian can't pack a house.
Not as the
Edge and
headliner,
Christian,
not not
Edge and,
not as the headliner of for them to per se. Just like the Hardys couldn't be the headliner. Now Edge as a singles competitor, yes,
nah, that
but
that
as the
that rivalry,
yeah, but
they
that's
they
all together. You
but
can't.
they birthed the Dudleys, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian birthed tables, ladders, and chairs. You have a pay-per-view because of those three tag teams.
I agree.
Now, if you didn't want to put all three of them in at the same time, each one in its own right can headline a Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Now the Dudleys, pretty much that they're one. So you put them in together because their tag team career far outmasters their individual accomplishments. Period. As a tag team, they've done everything that you can possibly do in wrestling and sports entertainment. Individually, a lot of work to be done. Same thing with Edge and Christian. Together, great tag team champions, great match opportunities. But Edge's singles career far outweighs and overshadows the tag team accomplishments.
I wonder
Hardy
why.
Boys are a great tag team, and those accomplishments outweigh in WWE what was accomplished in WWE for them singly.
I wonder why.
I'm not saying it wasn't, bad decision making and them not giving them the opportunities, da da da. And we saw what they did in Impact. We saw what they did when they went on a world tour and just started taking tag team championships and coming up with a cinematic match. We know what the potential is, but when it comes down to the Hall of Fame, can your name pack out 45 to 65,000 seats? If the answer is no, then you're not going to be the headliner. You could be one of the leading up tos, but you're not going to be the headliner. Like this year, I have no idea who the class of 2021's headliner is. I
It
still
may be
understand how
it may be someone from the class of 2020.
well, no, I wouldn't do it that way because that'd be unfair to the class of 2020.
They're talking about doing both of them this year.
Then you shouldn't be inducting people this year.
No, they already started. They
I know.
they've got a class from 2020 that didn't do anything because of COVID. They're talking about doing both of them this year for the Hall of Fame, and they've already started the 21 class, as you already know.
I
So,
got.
and,
I know.
and going back to your point about headlining, they can put anybody they want to in the headline spot, and it won't even matter.
For this year, yeah.
The Hall of Fame is going to sell out regardless.
Not this. Well, this year, I think they're gonna truthfully, in my heart of hearts, I think they're gonna run the Hall of Fame as 2020's Hall of Fame is going to be part of Raw. 2021 is going to be part of SmackDown before WrestleMania. Because WrestleMania is going to be the first event that's going to have fans in it. So you
I think
mean
they're gonna give them a 2-hour show, and they're gonna put everybody in that show.
They go pack the Thunderdome with wrestlers and then just have the Hall of Fame induction. Mm-hmm.
No, they're gonna put it all in there. Raymond James
during the event during WrestleMania.
no, they're probably gonna do it on that Friday night.
They're only selling tickets for 2 nights.
For now.
They can't. They can't.
For now.
James, that means that they have to have Raymond James built by the Tuesday or Wednesday before. Built, tested, rehearsed, because that means if you're going to go in Friday night, you have to be show ready. And then that's spoiler alert on the set. That's just too much social media of showing everything off. You just totally killed kayfabe on the hype for seeing WrestleMania and the pyro go up for the first time. This year is not conducive for it. If they're not doing it in the Thunderdome, which I think would be stupid, and then the fans watching, I guess that'd be a plan B. Honestly, I think they're just going to do it as part of chunks or segments of the Raw and the SmackDown leading up to, so that way, and maybe, so that way they don't have to come up with that much content, and then the Hall of Famers can be involved through the story. It'll help tell the Edge story lead up and things like that. That's just my opinion. I don't know. We'll see what they do, but it's not going to be a Raymond James.
Raymond James is a football stadium. They could set up a little corner or one of the end zones and keep all that WrestleMania stuff hidden in some way with a curtain or whatever they want to do, and they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want to do with Vince money. If Vince wants it done, he'll have it done. That Hall of Fame will be either on the Thursday or Friday before the start of WrestleMania, and it's not going to be on any of the shows. I guarantee you.
We'll see. We'll see. The fight has begun. But just to let you know, the Chamber of Commerce, the governor and the mayor have already had conversations with the hotel industry. They've had conversations with the restaurant industry in preparation so they can start expecting for the first major thing in Florida, we'll say. Well, no, Super Bowl there. So, yeah, I guess the second major event in this COVID era, another influx of people coming.
So, yeah, because they're talking about selling 45,000 tickets a night for WrestleMania.
Yeah, which 9 out of 10, if we cut that in half, I'd say it's probably going to be about, 20,000 for night 2 new tickets. Because I'm quite sure the other half is going to be buying both nights. So that's also what they're counting on, is the same person buying both nights. So that way that also cuts down on any potential exposure issues, because the same person in the same seat, same deal. So we'll see how that plays out. But we're going to fast forward so that way KG can talk about his true feelings, because I'm quite sure it revolves around the main event, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, and the Splodin. Hey, man, there's certain things you don't do. Gimmick infringement is not one of them. You cannot be showing random inanimate toys scrolling. That's my thing. Get your own thing. You got the sleeves. You got the hair braids. I can't even get that.
That's right. Savage today. Savage. Like Randy.
James got his drink and his smoke. You got your sleeves and stuff. All I got is Barbies and stuff like that. And now you're taking that away from me with the Hot Wheels. Dang. But if I must.
What in the whole hell was that?
It's Piggy.
Who?
Piggy. Some demented pig thing that these kids be playing on Roblox.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, we know. You're too old.
And I have no children, so yeah, that too.
That would do it.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Go ahead, KG.
Hating on ventriloquist things. Okay.
No, I'm just mad that he's bouncing it up in front of him like that. It looks like something else.
You nasty, James. You so nasty. I'm out of here. I got kids' ears.
What if we become?
Jericho. All right, come on. You want to talk about it? You want to save it to the end? Let's get it on. Come on.
We talking about the main event?
Yes, we are.
What the fuck was that?
Which part?
The whole, bruh.
Okay, first, before you get started, did you see the whole match?
Yes.
Okay, you watched the whole match. Okay, because I don't want you talking about this and you haven't seen the whole match. Okay, go ahead.
No, I seen it.
Okay, go ahead.
I seen it the night of, and I didn't even want to comment on it. I was just like, the All-Star game is more exciting. I mean, the All-Star game is great. I mean, it was a great All-Star game. It really was. But to say you're going to have an exploding barbed wire match, I don't care if you put CGI flames in there. Dog, you had sparklers. Sparklers. They're covering up, expecting an explosion. Sparklers. That's the stuff we get in DC on 4th of July that burn around on the ground, little snakes and stuff they get for the kids that you light on fire and you burn on the ground. That's the hell it was. Y'all couldn't have spent no money on something else? Y'all couldn't have spent no money on no pyro? The match itself, now, the match itself was pretty good, but it felt like a huge letdown, and it pissed me the fuck off. It was hyped up, billed to be great, and it was just a huge letdown. Like, if you couldn't get it right, why couldn't you call Japan? Hey, I need somebody to help me get this right. Call for help. This is my pay-per-view. This is my bread and butter.
You want to jump in there, James?
I have thought about this since that match ended on how I was going to react to it. And in reading all the comments and whatnot about it, you know, a lot of people are sounding just like KG, and I understand that. About 2-3 weeks ago, when me and Don had our show and we talked about it, and I said up front, if you remember, Don, I said it. These matches are hard to watch, not necessarily for the gore or the weapons used or whatever, but these are just hard matches to watch because you're trying to avoid dealing with the explosions too early, making a mistake and setting something off, or whatever the case may be. And you saw a lot of that, you know, in the match. In me trying to figure out how to go about talking about it, I don't want to talk about the match and what happened and demean what Moxley and Omega did in the ring. You know, so I mean, first I'll preface everything by saying that the match itself, as far as the physicality was concerned, was very good. You know, compared to some matches like of that kind that I have seen. Now, yes, there was a very big letdown, and they are playing it off in the way that they feel they need to. Tony Khan not really acknowledging the fact that it was a botch, and Moxley and damn, I can't think of his name. Help me out.
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. The way they did their fireside drinking and talking about it. Yes, it was a letdown. If they couldn't have had the big boom explosion, they could have at least brought up some extra smoke. Smoke would have helped in that situation. I mean, it's not like they don't shoot off thousands of dollars worth of pyro before every match. They could have done something, as far as pyro is concerned, like KG said. But yeah, it's almost like when people ask me, I'm living in Maryland, do I eat crabs? And I'm like, no, I don't eat crabs.
But he got
too much work, too much work for little reward, and that's what I've got from this match. I'm from North Carolina. We don't do crabs in North Carolina like that. So no.
I understand that. Oh my God, I understand that. But I don't know who bought your crabs. But I didn't already say that I want like 2-3 bushels of crabs. I'm coming to get you. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna eat crabs. I might even kick back and get some MGD, and we're gonna watch baseball. We're gonna talk shit. We're gonna eat crabs.
Where you get your crabs from? That's the question, KG.
It all depends. Some people like to go to the Wolf, but it depends on what the price is looking like. I got a couple places that I go to.
And where?
One is down right before you get to Chesapeake Beach.
Nope.
I got another place that I go to that's up Route 3 going to 97. I got a couple different places I go to.
You know where you need to go.
What, Baltimore?
Yeah. If you're not getting crabs down there.
Because I'm not driving into Baltimore to get crabs to come back home and cook them.
Why are you cooking them? They're already cooked.
Yeah, but I want them hot. Or at least warm.
Eat them. You need to know somebody down there. Yo, we coming over your house. We're going to pick up the crabs, and then we're going to eat them. If you getting crabs to go back to your house to cook them, you're not getting a true crab. That's probably why the man don't like them. If they're not covered in pounds of Old Bay to the point to where you're crying because you just like, I don't know what to do. All right, now.
Now. I've been in my share of crab events.
Where were they, James?
The first one I went to after I moved down here, and I don't know why we going down this rabbit hole, but I'm in it with you. Because it's the first one I went to was at Mr. Raj Thompson. Shout out to you. Well, I know you'll be listening to this. I went to his mom's house where she got, every year she goes and gets like 3-4 bushels, and she invites some of her girlfriends and other people to come to her house, and they have their crab session with the beer and the whole thing. And I sat there and watched them for 2 hours, cracking and eating and talking and drinking. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all do that. I don't know how y'all suffer through that. No. I mean, they were seasoned up. And I mean, they were piled up, and the whole. I mean, it was a massacre. Okay, that's the only thing I could put on it. I'm like, they were going through these things. Like the last time I seen something like that was the first crawfish boil I ever went to in New Orleans. I mean, it was crazy. Okay, the second one I went to was at their church. They have an event every year where they have a crab event at their church. So I got invited. I was asked to go. I bought a ticket. Went to go, and sat there and watched 60 people at tables. All you heard was.
Man, they used the mallets?
They were using mallets. They were using their hands. People came with like suitcases with their own utensils. I mean, it was like crazy. I mean,
they ain't real crab eaters.
Well, I mean, there was some. Not everybody used the mallets. There was some that did, but I'm just saying.
Male or female, you take the fingers just like this, and there you go. Look at the kid. Don't eat the dead man. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't eat the dead man. What's that? poop.
Well,
And it tastes good.
they eat the dead man in like China and Japan and whatnot. They mix it with rice and they go at it.
That's why
Oh
they
no,
did
that's a bitter taste, man. It's a very bitter taste.
it.
They seem to like it.
Well, they eat a lot of things. They eat squid and everything else.
Well, I eat squid.
So
Yeah, because
what's being said is neither one of y'all had the be more inner city, hot as hell. You walk in there and your clothes smell like Old Bay when you walk out with your bag of crab. That's how much.
The next time I go
Y'all
to
need that.
Baltimore, the only place I'm trying to go to is Jimmy's Seafood.
Oh my God. We'll work on that. We're gonna have to work this situation out.
yes, we are. Because now that you said something about squid, I want calamari. So,
Oh Lord, now ain't anybody got time for that, man.
oh
I
my
haven't
god,
had. I was just thinking about it the other day. I haven't had sushi in 2 years because of this COVID mess.
Now
I'm
that
pissed.
I can't do sushi. I'm sorry. I don't watch
I love sushi.
if it's a dynamite roll, I'll do it.
too many videos about people getting all them streptococcuses and all that other stuff and all. I can't.
Oh, but I bet you got a freezer. But I bet you got a freezer full of tilapia and swai up in your house.
Actually, no, I don't. I never
Good.
got on that. I never got on that tilapia chain or train.
That ain't
But
where it's at.
I will do like salmon cakes and stuff like that. But I can't. I mean, the only fish that I eat once in a while is the big fish from Burger King. It's actually I'm
I
just saying.
I shouldn't be laughing at you because I had one earlier, but
About that.
hey, I had to get one to go with my double sourdough king, no bacon.
Well, I just got it because it was 2 for $5. You had me at 2 for $5.
No,
Plus, the
no.
McDonald's filet of fish has gone down, but they may be making a comeback since there's a double filet of fish to extra clog your arteries on Good Friday.
No, if you haven't done it yet, you need to go to Popeyes and try this.
Hey
Popeyes
man,
fish sandwich is the bomb.
Popeyes just to get some chicken. These people walking around like they offering crack, weed, everything. It's like, God dang.
Popeyes fish sandwich is the bomb. I highly recommend it.
We'll see how the chicken sandwich is. In a related story, the 2020, I guess, version of Riverdance actually has black people in it. Just wanted to put that out there. So, just
Wow, talking about a tangent.
just throwing off on that because it's on my TV. Shout out to Michael Flatley, the originator. But that's
Well,
and Maryland Public Television for the exposure to Riverdance in the middle of the night when there's absolutely nothing on, and you're like, oh, they going in on this tap dance thing, and then they just take off and do their thing. Like, all right, 2 hours later, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got a test, you got to go to school, but you just got finished watching all of Riverdance. It's rough out there sometimes. Just saying. So that's the exploding death match. Now, if we had to separate the ending from the match, in my opinion, the match lived up to the hype. They did a great job telling the story, especially in the beginning. With we're gonna give it to you, nope. We're gonna give it to you, nope. We're gonna give it to you, and then when it finally happened, all the spots that involved the ring and the explosion were spot on. It was believable. I mean, looking at it, you were wondering, hey, did something get in their eye? You felt like there was the element of danger. And then all the spots were, I would say, the traditional normal barbed wire spots that you would expect that we've seen multiple times from, the clothesline with the barbed wire, grinding across the forehead, things that, yeah, it may seem like the norm, but I ain't doing it.
now the barbed wire covered exploding bat.
That was a
I
good
have
one.
not seen. I have not seen in a while. That's an Onita special right there.
Yeah, I wish we could have got 2 explosions out of it though. But I'll take the one. But I mean, for the finish, it is what it is. I think that they may have, in the midst of doing the match and the cameraman being around, somebody may have oops and messed up the triggering system, so not everything fired. It happens. We've seen the WWE many times. It's not national, news that, oh my God, somebody's pyro didn't go through. Hell, they almost burnt the Undertaker coming down in the match.
But let's
I
play
think the problem.
let's play devil's advocate
Let
now,
let me
though.
say let me say this, James. I think, in my opinion, where the issue comes in that people are like, this could be kind of whack, was Eddie Kingston, and well, it's half and half. Shout out to Eddie Kingston, but Eddie Kingston selling it as if it was the explosion of all explosions. I would have rather if Eddie would have gotten up and been checking on Mox after they like covered him and then checked on him, then I'm like, cool. But him selling the finish as written out and everybody knows, and even he knows, is like, oh shit, this thing ain't go off. You know.
Well, you can't say that because with the way Kingston did it, he did it assuming that the explosion was going to come. You
Well,
don't
yeah,
know
that's
if it
what
was going
I'm
to be
saying.
you don't know if it's going to be a delayed reaction. If he did do it like you said it and it went off anyway, he could have gotten hurt. So he did what he was supposed to do. I make him the hero of this pay-per-view. So I
Well,
mean,
I give him props for selling it, but when they realize that hey, it didn't go off and nothing's about to happen, when everybody, well, that moment, I'm quite sure they were talking during the whole time, like, yo, man, this didn't go off the way it's supposed to. That I would have broken the kayfabe and the fourth wall and went ahead and had the gumption to start selling up, checking on Mox, because then it would have believed. Because what we didn't see during the pay per view was Mox, putting it on Kenny Omega, just thinking off the top of the dome, saying that Kenny Omega can't build a exploding ring for S. That is what led to them just saying, well, that's a good idea. Let's just go ahead and run with that and blame it on Kenny O. And that'll be our get out of jail free card. We'll pack a couple Dynamite episodes and nobody will be remembering this thing because everybody will move forward. Mick Foley, on the other hand, he said that he thinks AEW should just own up and say, hey, it happened. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. And we just move on and not hanging on Kenny Omega's head. So that's my question to you, James, is should they keep hanging on Kenny Omega's head and then just let it fade away? Or should they just come out or have come out and said, hey, it was a botch. It happens. Let's move on.
I want to play devil's advocate and go with Don Callis's in a promo that he did Wednesday night.
Right.
He was like, "Yeah, we built this thing up, an exploding barbed wire death match. We got you looking at on YouTube at all of these different death matches that have happened in the past. We got you expecting this big, huge explosion of the ring, but we swerved you. We know that's what you wanted. So what do? We pulled it away from you because that's what you wanted. We're not here to give you what you want. So I'm thinking maybe, possibly, this was done on purpose.
Well, if it
This was the
was,
original plan.
then I would have taken it to the next level. And on the screen, I know they may have to pay a little bit of bucks, but had old boy sitting there laughing, Gotti, something like that. And
No, but
then
no, that would have overplayed it. That would have overplayed it.
I would have overplayed it intentionally.
No, they're playing it correctly as they're doing it. I mean, you got Moxley who's saying, "Okay, this was a bunch of bullshit." You got Kingston that's backing him up. You got Omega and Callis saying, "Yeah, we got you, bitch."
Well, Kingston ain't really
But then
backing
you
him up.
got,
Kingston's talking
but then you
about,
got,
I'm
but
having a
hold on, hold
flashback to
on,
going
hold
to
on,
jail.
hold on.
What the hell?
But then you got Tony Khan, who's like, there was no botch.
Yeah.
What you
Tony is
talking
going
about?
with plausible deniability. He's just like whatever. The Kingston thing, like, dude, you having flashbacks to when you went to jail? What the heck that got to do with explosion?
That's them building up that match between them, the two of them.
I don't know.
They're building up a match between Kingston and Omega again. So that's what that is. I mean, you're not gonna have Moxley in the title picture much longer, if at all. I mean, like you said last week, this is setting up for him to leave for a while, go be with his baby. He might even show up in New Japan. I mean, he does have that United States title. He's got to defend it in Japan at some point. And before COVID ended, he was supposed to be getting together in a storyline with Minoru Suzuki, of which he's brought up on AEW on a few occasions. So that remark was to set up Eddie Kingston for a potential title match at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But, I mean, either way, it's going to be forgotten about until somebody wants to dig it up again and
just like everybody forgot about that big match, that Big Ten man that they were supposed to have, the Elite versus the Inner Circle, the original one. So yeah.
Well, they pulled that now, and now the War Games, since we're just going all over the place, is going to be between the Inner Circle and MJF's crew that hasn't been named yet. So when they do their War Games, the Elite's out, MJF is in. They can't use that term. They can't use anywhere close to it. Hell.
Oh, they're already making comparisons. So yeah.
But it's hard to make a comparison when the members of it that are actively wrestling aren't living that lifestyle. As we all know, the Horsemen was more than just 4 people and James J. Dillon. It was more than a shirt. It was more than a name. It was a lifestyle that made them what they are.
Check out the comparison, though. Look at the comparison and hear me out.
Please explain to me how FTR is living a Horseman life.
I'm not saying they're living the Horseman life, but you're talking about the comparison to the Horseman.
What's the
comparison? I'm about to tell you. If you shut your trap there, buddy.
Why I oughta
stifle it, pal.
To the moon.
You got MJF as your Flair, the rich guy, dressed well, always talking to shit. You got FTR, who has already been, from the beginning of their career, compared to Tully and Arn.
Mm-hmm.
They got Tully in their background, which is their J.J. Dillon. They're going to use Shawn Spears as their enforcer, pretty much, in this situation.
I thought, so he's going to be Barry Windham?
No, he's not going to be Barry Windham.
Or it's going to be Wardlow.
See, Wardlow is going to be more like Lex Luger. Wardlow will be more like your Lex Luger. You're going to have Shawn Spears there as kind of like your guy with the experience. He's going to be like your Ole Anderson.
Okay.
He's going to be that rough. He's going to be that rough and rugged guy that's going to be doing a lot of your heavy lifting to protect MJF, along with Wardlow. And then you could see Arn Anderson defecting and coming into that group as well, because they're also talking about that too.
Cody's got to go away because his daughter is a girl, right? Yeah, his daughter's not too far away.
So yeah, there are comparisons. I can see the comparisons,
but they're not the first grouping that has been compared to the Horsemen.
Because the Horseman is the model for every faction and stable ever made since the.
I would say they're Horseman-esque. I wouldn't compare them yet. Because
they got some work to do. But I'm saying, in the visual, that's what people are saying. This is where they're going with the comparison to the Horseman.
Yeah, now I'd say, at modern time of wrestlers, the closest that we have gotten would be the Undisputed Era, minus the money aspect of the gimmick. You had all the championships in one group for a considerable amount of time, and they held it, and they put that work in. Adam Cole was having some issues. You thought something was going to go down. What happened? The rest of the UE showed up. Adam Cole walked out the champion. They did that thing in NXT the way it was supposed to be done. To me, that's the closest that we've gotten thus far. Now, AEW, is starting off with that. But I don't know. I'm just saying that it could be done. It could be done well. I just don't want it to be gimmicky too much just because you've got Arn and Tully in there and James J. And it kind of doesn't let them validate themselves as that group, and then they turn it around and disband the group or something else, and it implodes upon itself. So if you're going to do it, they need to be dominant. They need to be dominant for a while. They need to make sure MJF is the heavyweight champion to the point, in my opinion, to where Cody may have to beg Tony Khan to rescind the original agreement so that way he can challenge MJF. At some point, Cody's got to become champion. At some point, in my opinion.
Well, I agree.
So that would work out that way, but they have to be running at the level that it's just unstoppable.
Well, it'll end up being done, I'm sure. Because I mean, the whole reason they've been talking about getting a Horseman-esque group into AEW, they've been working on this the whole time. That's why you see Tully and them doing this.
Oh yeah, because that's 3 out of 4.
Right.
So I mean, I'm with it.
It's also the same hand gesture that Fortune used in TNA when Flair put together his group.
So Ric Flair to AEW?
No.
Never, or just not right now?
Never say never, but not right now. And plus, you have to remember, Flair has had a falling out with all of the rest of the Horsemen, pretty much. He has no relationship with Arn or Tully at this point. So I don't see them even entertaining that.
So for what Flair said, he said that when he was going through, he was in a hospital and he was, damn near on death's door. His crew, from what he said, Arn, Tully, Ole, nobody reached out to him. When he was getting calls and messages and texts, none of them came from the Horsemen. And, he said at that point he realizes that old, saying goes, who your friends are when your back's up against the wall, or, you need help or whatever it may be. That's when your true friends show up. And none of the people that now I believe if he was still alive, who would have called him? Who would have been his side? Dusty Rhodes. Now, I haven't heard him talk about it, but I'm quite sure he got a call from Ricky Steamboat. I'm quite sure he got a prayer from Sting. Hell, he may even got a prayer from Lex Luger. But the people that he ran with, drank with, smoked with, fornicated with, no homo, but you know what I'm saying, and whatever things that happened at the Omni or, at the Marriott right behind the Baltimore Arena. You know how it was. Whatever they was doing, he didn't get no calls from them. So that was pretty interesting. But Tony Khan did say that he did extend opportunities to Flair, but he wouldn't try to aggressively recruit Ric Flair out of respect for what he's done and how the WWE has helped restore Flair to his confidence level close to of old, because that would be a true spit in the face right there. It's one thing about a business decision, but hey man, they're keeping you afloat, Nate. Your cameos ain't doing it. Your Twitter writer ain't doing it. WWE and what they're doing, even under controversy, having you part of storylines when during COVID that people thought you shouldn't even be out there because you're an at-risk employee, heavily at-risk employee. They were still finding creative ways to make sure that you was getting them ducats at that high legend level. And he'll still be intertwined in other things down the road as they work out what they want to do with Charlotte. So I don't see him going anywhere.
Plus, he's already given his blessing for them to do the Horseman type faction. So that's pretty much all they needed. AEW needed for Flair.
Yeah. But in a related story, we spent an hour on a tangent of things, and technically, we've only covered the first topic of the show. It's true to say that we've been losing our minds in these past couple of shows trying to figure out what the heck we're supposed to be talking about. But now we're going to bring it back to KG's question of the week. Should Soulja Boy be telling them? If you are living under a rock, it's time to come out and see the sunlight and smell the BS and the beefs and everything else for one non-wrestler, rapper kinda, wannabe video game system creator, Soulja Boy, has gone under fire as he's criticized the sports entertainment wrestling world as of late on Twitter. Certain people's Twitter feeds, to the point to where recently, I believe you sent me this, KG, the Iron Sheik has said, I will kill you, for lack of a better term, if you keep trying this garbage again. So I want you to go ahead and tell us your thoughts on this outsider looking in, which everybody can be opinionated. Everybody can say what they think, no matter what financial status you're in or celebrity, non-celebrity. But it's safe to say he's gone a little overboard on his delivery, for lack of a better term. So, KG, go ahead and fill us in on that.
Well, it's not just Soulja Boy; it's also Bow Wow, who's talking
Well,
about.
we'll get there.
Okay.
I look at them as two polar opposites.
Well, both
I
of
don't
these
see
clowns.
how, but go ahead.
Both of these clowns are disrespecting the business. You can't break into this business and think that, oh, because I'm a celebrity, I'm going to get a heavyweight championship shot or I'm going to get a title run because you're Soulja Boy. Who? When it comes to the wrestling world, you haven't paid your dues. And I said it to a good friend of the show. I call him Keefy from the block. And I said, dog, you ain't gonna be talking that when you gotta get in the ring and pay your dues and you getting hit 20, you're supposed to get hit 15 times with a kendo stick and they wind up hitting you 200 times with a kendo stick. Let me see you talk that then. Don't ever disrespect the business. And for now, granted, the Iron Sheik every day, he gives me life because he says, if you're happy and you know it, go fuck yourself. Life's too short not to tell enough people to go fuck yourself. I live by that motto every day. Thank you to the Iron Sheik. But for him to say what he said because you're disrespecting the business, I hope he came out of retirement, put him in the camel clutch, and made his bitch ass humble. I get creating heat, but that's not how you create heat. You disrespecting a lot of people. And somebody from Retribution, I can't remember who it was, actually tweeted something about that. And they disrespected him. It was T-Bar. They disrespected him. This man's in the business. You talk about coming to WWE, you're stepping in his yard. He may not be the big dog in the yard, but that's his yard. You're stepping. That's like us saying we're gonna be rappers.
Bow Wow did the same thing to Randy Orton.
Not at that level. I would say Bow Wow. He said he didn't say anything like malicious, but what he did say was, "Hey,
fuck if he didn't.
I'm ready to go in and jump in and be a wrestler." They were social media kind of, I guess to throw out a DC term, size it up to be more than what it was, other than him saying, "Hey, I'm not rapping, I'm not doing anything. Why not try my hand in it?" There's nothing. I mean, he can be an independent. He can. Right now, he's learning under Rikishi. Why not? He can give it a shot. At least he's out there. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna do something. He's not out there like this mess is fake. F you. You can't tell me what to do. I'm the biggest man ever. somebody tweeted in response to somebody complaining, why is Bow Wow trying to act like he can run the WWE? They're like, well, if you look at how many Twitter followers he has and how many Facebook followers, yeah, he's in the millions. So it's not a bad look for them to bring people in that have that social media clout, which they just hired people to help them add on to that social media clout. So him getting in there, why not let him do something on NXT when he's ready? He doesn't have to be in championship form or anything like that, but he can have a couple spots here or there and take a chair shot or, maybe be in one of those gimmicky matches until he's ready. But then, we also have people that aren't ready that are learning as they go, like, no disrespect, but like a Jade Cargill who's, still a little green, that's going through the motions, learning as we go along, but looks great. That is getting screen and TV time. So, in my opinion, I consider them polar opposites because at least Bow Wow is training. At least he's in school. Soulja Boy just running his mouth, just trying to get clickbait and people to react to him, and he's trolling them, and they're just responding for no reason whatsoever. Like, I don't even know why these superstars are giving him the time of day. He's not saying anything of relevance at all. We've seen many a time Jim Ross has said, and you thought this was fake, and you thought they know how to fall. Shall we show the Hell in a Cell when Foley went over? Let's just go down memory lane for some of these epic encounters when people have gone through tables, ladders, chairs, oh my, when concussions have happened.
Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 19.
Hell, Vince McMahon trying to get into the ring blew both his quads. You can't get any more wrestling ain't fake than that. The boss blew out his legs trying to get into the ring. He didn't even perform.
You want to take it? You want to take it old? You want to take it old school? Jim Cornette falling off the what is it? The scaffold and breaking both of his knees.
Yep. Shoot. I was just reading a tweet from Bubba Ray as he was remembering Mae Young for her birthday, and he said he remembered that first time that they power bombed her through the table, and she walked up to him and said, "Now you make sure you do it just like you would do one of the boys," and that's why they, boom, gave it to her.
Because it was safer for her to do. It was safer to do that.
Just like
if he was gonna hold up because she's a woman, she might have got both of them might have got hurt. So do it like you would do one of the boys. So it's safe. Yeah, I don't
know how to take it.
But yeah, she knows how to take it. That was a tough bird. Yeah. But anyway, but to get to what you talk about, I think the whole thing is a work myself.
Cardi B maybe. Soulja Boy no.
I think it's a work because Soulja Boy. I've read the Soulja Boy is trying to get into wrestling himself too. So, I mean, when you talk about the Iron Sheik, the Iron Sheik doesn't necessarily do all of his own tweets. Okay, he's got somebody that works his tweets for him. And the reason I know this is because there's a documentary on the Iron Sheik on Amazon Prime that came out in 2016 that talks about him, his career, things that happened to him outside of the ring and whatnot, and his popularity growing on Twitter. And they talk about how they have somebody that's there that helped him kind of get onto Twitter. Because at first he started out, he was doing his own thing, he was doing everything. And he sometimes does now, but it's not every time that he gets on there. He's the guy that helps him out pretty much knows his diction, his vernacular, his lexicon.
A lot of people is able
to. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying.
As a guy that does it, because I mean, come on now.
But I said all that. I said all that to say this, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but Iron Sheik on Twitter is low hanging fruit. He's easy to get to. Right. So if you say something crossways to Iron Sheik, he's going to respond. because they look at every tweet that comes through that somebody sends him. So, yeah, why not say something to him and start something? You know, I mean, you're talking about people who haven't done anything in the business and have gotten title shots. Look at Bad Bunny. They doing that. They doing that because, like you said, he's popular. He done come out with a song about Booker T. He's got a follower. He's got a heavy following.
And he's
He's about to be on the He's about to be on the Grammys, doing his first performance on the Grammys with the 24/7 title. So that's just money right there. I mean, look what they did with David Arquette back at WCW. He had
and
no
that's what took WCW down.
And look at Vince Russo. Vince Russo had no business having WCW or the TNA title. So I mean, come on. This is what they do. They do it's clickbait, like you said. But so far, it's supposed to be getting into wrestling. I think it's all a work because for ratings and clicks and likes and follows and subscribes and all that crap. So I mean, it is what it is. It's the business.
Look at what happened when David Arquette won the WCW championship. And then he was talking about coming back. He was a part of the reason that WCW went under.
No,
when you start giving celebrities title shots, I mean, okay, 24/7 title, hardcore title, I get that.
WCW went under, and we all know this because TNT wanted out. That's why WCW went under. There's nothing wrong.
David Arquette winning championship.
Nothing wrong with done right.
Now, Time Warner didn't want anything to do with wrestling.
Rated Rumble made a lot of money.
It was a good movie.
From Scream all the way over to that movie, the crossover into the pay-per-view with the cage and all that stuff, becoming a real thing. That was, it happens. It happened, whatever. But that's not why WCW went under. I won't accept that. WCW went under when they put out.
Ready to Rumble was a great movie. I loved it. Very good.
Ted got ousted, and then Bischoff was up against the wall, and there was nothing he could do. That's when you knew WCW was doomed. But in a related story, I guarantee if they could turn back the hand of time, WWF/E would have went ahead and said yes to the pitch instead of letting WCW get it as a second option. Because Ready to Rumble was going to be primarily with WWF superstars. That was the whole write-up of the movie, and they just said nope. And then they said, well, let's check over here at WCW. Like, hell yeah, we'll do it. That's Ted Turner right there. Yeah, why not? We'll be part of a movie. How much money you need? And here we went.
That's what's up.
I will woo you. Jimmy King. Shout out to Oliver Platt. All right, so we've we're still doing relatively good. We talked about Virgil. We'll just go we're out of turn anyway. But we talked about Virgil going into the Hall of Fame. So if we're going to talk about the class of 2021, you gotta fill spots.
No. Virgil going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
He's the first one to be inducted, guaranteed. So
he's not the first one. They've already made the first.
But I'm talking about on the show, the first
on the show. Oh,
you didn't get out.
He's not a Sister Sherry, sensational Sherry, like that right there as a valet. He's not a Miss Elizabeth. He's not. He ain't even Curtis Hughes.
He's a virgin. Now, he was the guy on television in the 80s back then for a long time. Like, you liked the $1 Million Man, you liked the Everybody Has a Price, you liked the laugh, or you hated it. But either way, Virgil was right there like, man, why you keep taking this, man? Why you let this dude go ahead and treat you like this? Why are you over here being his butler? That's some BS, man. So you like Virgil at times, you hate Virgil at times, you empathize with Virgil at times. I mean, he was the little bit more subtle version of Bobby Heenan in reference to what it was, playing kind of the straight man to the $1 million man, for lack of a better term. So he was Virgil. Now, there's not a lot of, I mean, you don't have a lot of managers that are left to induct. So, I mean, he did what he needed to do. His NWO time was like, whatever, because he was just the jobber. Oh my God, yeah, go up against Virgil. Like, well, you're going to win this match, huh? So you just move on beyond that. But I would put him in. Why not? If nothing else, he's black. Good enough for me. If nothing else, he's out there constantly signing autographs at these shows where you may only have like 12 people and 3 of them come up to his booth to get an autograph. They don't even care enough. But Virgil is still there. Still there.
And he charges $35 for an autograph. That's why nobody goes out there.
What do you want? But everybody else is charging quadruple that. Last time they did something here, Arn Anderson was 65, 75, or 85.
That's Arn Anderson. I'll give you $100 if you sign this. It's Arn Anderson.
Yeah, but at the same time, Virgil 35. I'm gonna go with the 35 twice. One for me, one for my mama. Until we move on. So I got 2 things signed. It all depends, but I don't see why not. Virgil was a major part. He was a major player of what made WWF popular back then. You can't have $1 million man without Virgil. It didn't work, in my opinion. It did not work. So that's that.
I leave it alone.
I got that out the way. That's just Nubian.
Wow, that's my introduction. That's what I get.
I'm sorry.
This is how I'm treated.
I got distracted. I went from Riverdance to Tina. So when you see Tina Turner at Wembley just pop up on the screen, you're like, yeah, go ahead and say something, James, so I can turn his volume up real quick.
Okay, so we're gonna try this again. Nubian Sumo segment, take 2.
Coming to the stage, show your love for That's Just Nubian.
Thank you. Much better. Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for That's Just Nubian. Moving on.
Wait. See, you know what? This is where I could have cued the music, coming to the stage and, just play some 3 6 Mafia. Bands that make us dance.
Oh, I miss
Bands
it.
that make us
Show
dance. Have dances.
Did I get to show your love?
He got his Nubian dances.
So even though I've almost smoked through all of it through Don's bullcrap, tonight the Nubian Sumo is sponsored by the CAO Brasilia Select TAA 2019. This was a longer stick, but we are like an hour and a half go in. So that tells you about this cigar. And then we also have the Nomad Outland Whiskey, which is from Scotland and finished in sherry cask. I've had this before on the show, so I haven't had it in a while, so I brought that back out. So I'm gonna pour me a little bit more of this, and we're gonna start with MLW, who's going to have a pay-per-view here soon called Never Say Never, which is going to be on March the 31st. The two matches that have already been, one match that has already been signed is Jacob Fatu, who is still the world heavyweight champion going into almost 2 years under his reign, going up against Calvin Tankman. Calvin Tankman is an indie darling that is signed with them back in the fall, who's undefeated in MLW. For those who haven't seen him wrestle, imagine a black version of Bill DeMont, Hugh Morris. He has the aerials, he has the ground game, and he's a pretty good wrestler. So he calls himself Heavyweight Hustle. So if you get a chance to check him out on YouTube, you might want to take the time to do that, or even check out the pay-per-view. On the Fusion show this week, they're going to have a packed show with Leo Rush putting out an open challenge for his middleweight championship, and also Los Parks, both the tag team champions, are going up against Injustice. Couple of middleweight guys in a tag team who have been on a pretty good run here lately, and are going up against a lot of the different factions in the in MLW to make their mark. So check them out on MLW. Going to NWA. NWA is on their way back now. They're going to start doing shows again. They have a pay-per-view called Back for the Attack that will be going on March the 21st. It's going to be on Fight TV. A lot of these things now they're going to be doing on Fight TV since they signed that new contract. $19.99 for the pay-per-view, and for those who are just signing up with Fight, you get $2 off of that for your $2 credit. So if you want to check that out, you can. All the mainstays are going to be coming back. Nick Aldis is still the World Heavyweight Champion. Elijah Burke is your NWA Television Champion. You have Trevor Murdoch, who, if you remember him from WWE in the past, is your National Heavyweight Champion. You have Aaron Stevens and J.R. Kratos, who are the Tag Team Champions. Serena Deeb most likely will not be in this pay-per-view because she is actually hurt right now. So, but the Thunder Rosa will be in action somewhere in there, and Camille. I'm sure they're going to be dedicating this show to Josephus, who recently was wrestling under a mask as the question mark, who passed away back in last month. Who, even before all the NWA shows started up, he was a mainstay and a pillar of the NWA. I mean, he came in and he was a regular. He was a big one of the biggest heels that they had, if not the biggest. He had a nice faction going at one time, and that was running NWA for a while. He never really had any championships with NWA, but some wrestlers just don't need a belt to get over. Said he was one of them. So rest in peace to him, and I'm sure they'll be doing something on that show to recognize him. Now, on the 23rd, they're going to start the NWA Power shows again. And those are going to be, again, like I said, they're going to be on Fight TV on Tuesday nights at 6:05. They've always kept the 6:05 time when they were on YouTube. So they're going to be having those shows again. Now, in Ring of Honor, they're going to have the 19th anniversary show on the 26th, where Jay Lethal has won a 4-corner match to be the number one contender for the World Championship against Roosh. He wound up beating Matt Taven, Jay Briscoe, and EC3 for that distinction. You're going to have Shane Taylor Productions, which is Shane Taylor and his tag team SOS defending the 6-man tag team championships against the former champions, the Mexican Squad. Tracy Williams will be in a television title match against the champion Dragon Lee, and Jay Briscoe and EC3 will have their second match in their series going on during that pay-per-view. Now, as far as Impact is concerned, right now you have a pay-per-view on, which is they're at the main event right now, the Sacrifice pay-per-view. And fellas, do you think I should go ahead and give out these spoilers because it's almost over?
Yeah, I'm assuming I knew it was gonna come to something that you was watching.
So you had Tennille Dashwood and Caleb, who wound up beating Havoc and Nevaeh. You had Decay, who got the Duke over Reno Scum. You had Violence by Design, who wound up getting the win over James Storm and Chris Sabin. And they have a new member now in Rhino, who has just joined tonight and helped them win the match tonight. You have TJP, who lost his X Division championship to Ace Austin. Deonna Purrazzo defended her championship and retained against ODB. The Good Brothers ended up losing the Impact Tag Team Championships to FinJuice tonight. Fire and Flavor, I actually missed that match in our conversation. We had a match against Jordan Grace and Jazz, so I'm not sure how that title went, but I'm thinking Fire and Flavor wound up winning that match. And Rich Swann is now in the end of their match with Moose, where the winner will be the unified TNA and Impact World Champion. And the winner of this match will end up going to the main event of the next pay-per-view on April the 24th, Rebellion, to defend title versus title against Kenny Omega, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So we'll see how that goes. I read somewhere that they don't really have any major plans for Kenny Omega at this time. So coming off of that exploding barbed wire death match. So we'll have to see what happens between Impact and AEW when it comes to that match and the outcome of that match. Now, as far as New Japan is concerned, on the 4th, they started the New Japan Cup, of which they are in their 8th show as of tonight. In bracket A, you've already gone to the final 4 of that side of the bracket, where Evil ended up getting a bye, being that he was the defending New Japan Cup champion, and wound up beating Jeff Cobb to get to his position. Toru Yano wound up beating Bad Luck Fale and the Great Okan to get into his position. You had Shingo Takagi, who wound up beating Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Goto to get where he is. And Kenta wound up beating Juice Robinson and Minoru Suzuki to get into his position. Now, on the other side of the bracket, they still have they haven't gotten to their final 4 yet, but they're getting there. Will Ospreay wound up beating my handwriting's kind of messed up here. So he wound up getting into his position with a win. Zack Sabre Jr. wound up beating Kid, which is one of the young lions in New Japan. You had Yuji Nagata, who wound up beating another young lion in Suchi. You had Sonata, who wound up beating Tomohiro Ishii to get into his position. David Finlay is going to face Yoshihashi. Finlay defeated Chase Owens, and Yoshihashi defeated Yujiro Takahashi. Jay White ended up beating Toa Hanari to get his spot, and he'll be facing Hiroshi Tanahashi, who ended up getting a bye, being the only singles title holder as the never openweight champion in the tournament. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. They're going to end up going to a final at some point, and the winner of that final will get his choice of the IWGP now World Heavyweight Championship or the Never Openweight Championship when they decide to, and the U.S. title may be included in that also. But the U.S. title is being said to be defended after the New Japan Cup USA, which is going on which will be taking place on New Japan Strong on Friday nights. Right now they're going into qualifying matches where so far Leo Rush, Tom Lawler, Fred Rosser, who was the former tag team partner of with the Primetime Players, and Hikuleo, which is the younger brother of the Gorillas of Destiny and Haku's youngest son. So those 4 are already qualified. They'll be having some more qualifying matches, and this tournament won't necessarily start until after the New Japan Cup in Japan. So that's everything that I have right now, and that's just Nubian.
Thank you, James. You did a wonderful job. I appreciate that. Anything, any questions or anything you want to add to Sir Nubians, Mr. KG?
No, I'm just waiting for my turn.
Just breaking news. Your boy pulled it off.
Which one?
Your homeboy, Rich Swann,
Rush?
has now won the Impact and TNA World Heavyweight Championships, and will go on to Rebellion to face Kenny Omega to title versus title at Rebellion.
Wow, Rich Homie Swann doing his thing. All right, so we're gonna wrap this thing up with 2 more things, and then we're gonna let these folks go because Lord knows we started off hot, heavy, and crazy. So we're gonna end it nice and easy.
See, that's him watching Tina Turner.
It is.
See,
she
look,
just broke it up. You don't need another hero.
Wait, hey James, you're gonna see one of the kids come back in the background. Left a good job in the city. Watch. Working for the man every night and day.
Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake.
That's all you're gonna see. Look, he gonna start doing this thing. All you're gonna see is one of the kids. It's ease on off.
Now y'all can't act like if Tina don't pop up on your TV, you're not gonna sit there and be like, that's all there is to it right there. You just shut down. You're like, you do your thing, girl. Them legs and them heels, man, they going mile a minute. So,
but to include on that, if you haven't seen United States versus Billie Holiday yet, you need to see it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's on my list.
All right. I'll check it out. So 2 things left, both of them WWE related. We'll get to the first one. It was a big announcement that was made this week. So this is just a general question. I'll start with you, KG. NXT TakeOver before Mania this year, 2 nights. Hit the old Chuck Rollery, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. What's your thoughts on that? Will you be interested? You think NXT has the depth to hold your excitement, your anticipation, and your attention with 2 nights of TakeOver at this point?
Yes, I would normally say no, but yes, because shout out to Ember Moon for becoming the only NXT Women's Champion, NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, and what else was it? It was something else. I'm missing something. What am I missing? That was it?
Yeah.
I thought. Oh, okay. She's the first woman to do that. And how long have we been calling for women's tag team titles in NXT?
Yeah.
I ain't got no check in the mail. You get a check?
Check. Only thing I do is check the mail. There's never anything in it, but I check for it every day.
Because I have yet to get a check. I just want to say that.
Hey, at least it exists. But with that, that means that the other women's tag champions will now have no say or no capability, technically, to go to NXT at all. Because they were traveling champions for the entire division, but now NXT has become autonomous. But I thought it was smart, and I'm happy for it, as we've talked about, because when they had all the women standing on the ramp, that's a lot of depth in that women's division. So you have to break that up. And the only way to do that is to give them a tag championship to aspire toward, to create a tag division. And we have a main championship. Now, all we need is just that mid belt, and then we'll be good. So we're almost there. But James shaking his head. What's wrong? You're not happy for NXT Championship for the women in the tag form?
You know how I feel about all these belts or all these titles in WWE. There's no need for all these titles. There
There's
was
no
nothing.
need for a women's tag championship.
They already had one. They already had one. It was very successful. Them going from show to show like that. That's the
It
way it
was cool,
should
but it
be.
wasn't successful
It was. It was. Why wasn't it?
because when they went to NXT,
Shayna, and Nia have done more with those titles going from all three shows than any other
no,
team that's been with that title.
Bailey and Sasha went to NXT more than Shayna and Nia have.
I
Yes,
disagree.
yes,
I
yes. They
disagree.
had more appearances in NXT, wrestle, backstage, whatever, than Shayna and Nia have. Period. They made those rounds several times. They completed that loop several times and held NXT at high regard when they went. And not saying that Nia and Shayna aren't. Like I said, that Shayna is a NXT alum, but
And why couldn't they keep that going? What's the
because they
purpose?
because
Because now you got to have one in NXT
same thing,
UK.
same thing with Shayna and Nia. They are not holding NXT at the high regard. They're trying not to the point to where they have to be there that much. They want to keep it Raw SmackDown, Raw SmackDown.
They're right around the corner from each other. Why not? Why not?
I agree.
It's ridiculous to have all these titles. I'm sorry, because now all this does is add a women's tag team titles to NXT UK.
No, don't even talk about the UK. Not no
Hey,
disrespect, but UK is over there. That's not in the grand scheme of because they're still in its infancy, and COVID didn't help them any with the growth of that. But on the NXT side, if it's going to be autonomous, if it's going to be its own brand, if it's going to live in life on its own, you got to give it the legs it needs to be able to grow and strive and become the third brand that it really is.
and that's why they moving. And that's why they moving to Tuesdays.
Well, I mean, hey, that's still not a bad deal. But either way, Raw has still got to go up against AEW. That's the real fight. In my opinion, the SmackDown storylines are better than the AEW storylines. So
SmackDown is better overall anyway.
So that's all. That's they don't want to go to Friday. In reference to the AEW anything, but I think the championship is necessary just to give something because you're not seeing enough people on the women's side of things because you've only got the main players that are involved in it, and then you may have the tag match here or there. But then what do? Fast forward. At least give us something. You don't need 80 million titles and Raw and SmackDown on that side of things. I agree. But you have to break up the monotony and allow everybody to have an opportunity or make an all-women show.
Whatever.
KG, you quiet over there still.
Wait, the time to make an all-women show has passed. When we were going through the women's evolution that turned into the women's revolution, would have been the time you made an all-women show. You jump in on
like
that
5
right
years
then and
ago,
there.
I mean, I could have swore it was supposed to be something that was continue to grow, and the WWE would be exploring these things and evolution. Potentially, could be a mainstay pay-per-views, and Stephanie McMahon's out there saying, "Women, yeah, we're doing it," and now, yep, haven't heard a thing.
And it's all quiet. And see, that's what pisses me off because you caught lightning in a bottle. You had this roster of women, and you still have a lot of talent, women-wise, on all three shows. Why not do an Evolution pay-per-view? Everybody loved that.
Women's Royal Rumble this year. Really? Really? Like, I don't even understand that.
It's not it's not conducive. You're not. They're not being smart. They're doing. My grandmother used to say, "Use your head for something other than a hat rack."
I meant to say, Elimination Chamber,
but they're not doing anything with this women's division. You caught You had it. You had it all, and then you pissed it away.
Well, I think
And
you
now
know what?
you're trying to
They
bring it
went into
back.
panic mode when they lost Becky. When Becky,
But you
had
didn't
to
really
step-
lose Becky. This is something you have to be prepared for. You have to be. Women get pregnant. You have to be prepared for her to be out for 9 months. She doesn't have to be off screen for 9 months, but she's going to be out for 9 months. Then she has the baby. She's out for 6 weeks. She comes back. We already did the breastfeeding episode. We're not going to go through it again. But it's ways to get around it. You got to be prepared for that. So it's pretty much the same way it is in any sport. Instead of next man up, it's next woman up. So the division and these plans shouldn't have fell off because Becky got pregnant.
because they had no backup plan. They had no
But
backup
your
plan
backup
because they
plan
didn't let
is
Asuka
sitting
be
right there.
They didn't let Asuka be Asuka. They were keeping Bianca Belair in NXT when we knew if she was going to keep her in NXT, she should have been NXT champion and beat Shayna one of those times. But they kept her down. They brought Shayna up, but then pushed her down. They didn't want to drive Nia Jax, and then she got injured, but they didn't want to drive her the way that they did. They didn't yet believe in Bayley and her potential. Sasha was in and out during that period. So
they just buried Dakota Kai and Rachel Gonzalez.
that's not even talk. I was so mad. I was happy that they won or that they got it, but then to lose it, no disrespect to Ember Moon, but in the same night, really? They just
There was
gave
no reason. There was no reason for that.
no.
None.
This week, yeah, okay, they could have lost it, but in the same night, hey, you're the first, and you're done. You're the first to win, the first to lose.
Thank you for not having a tournament.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen, James. I'm like, oh
Thank
my
you for
god.
not having a tournament, but
I'm like,
I'm just saying they could have did that in a better way. They could have at least let them hold that belt for like till next week or something. Damn, give it to them and then shut them down and bury them that night.
yeah.
That was
But
bad.
you know what?
What's that?
You know something they could go back to? You remember the tag team gauntlets, things like that, where you got not thrown together tag teams, you got legit tag teams going through the gauntlet. You could do that in the women's division. You can find. Let me think. Who you got in the women's division? Pick a name in the women's division. In any show. Pick a name. Just pick one name.
Charlotte.
Have Charlotte go through a 6-pack challenge in one night. Have her run the gauntlet against all. She don't know what it is, and it's all specialty matches. You got a Brahma bull rope match. You got a lumberjack match. Hell, bring it back. You even got a damn Inferno match in the same damn night. When I tell you ratings will jump, but you started on Monday. And then when she thinks she gonna get a title shot on Friday or something, you put her through another gauntlet, another specialty matches. She gotta go 2-on-1. She gotta do an Iron Woman match. Make it about the women. Do the same thing, the same way you used to do Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold. Flip that around, start doing it with the women. Because those nights when Vince made Triple H go through the 6-pack challenge to get the title back, that was epic primetime viewing pleasure.
Shoot,
Like
Kofi,
I did not leave.
when Kofi had to go through it and went through the gauntlet to get his many opportunity. When Daniel Bryan had to go through it. I mean, all those.
You're not getting up from the from in front of the TV when the commercial comes on. You might go grab something to drink, but you're not going to make anything to eat.
Not anymore
You want to
because
see
you do
that.
picture in picture. Like there's the thing now. You don't have to go anywhere. But they got to plan that out though, because that's a negotiation with the sponsor.
But here's the thing: these things are possible if you do them. You have the talent to do it. There's no reason that any woman on that roster is getting buried. Rhea Ripley should be damn near main event status by now. Where's she at?
She's supposed to start on Raw next week, right?
Allegedly.
Is she gonna be a jobber on Raw? You got too much talent to be burying people. Talent that you don't want to use half the time.
You know how they do NXT talent whenever they move them up. You know how they do, especially on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know how they do them. Bianca Belair is a special case because she's just that good. But look what they did with a whole bunch of those other guys, like the Vaudevillains
Keith
and
Lee.
AOP. You know,
The War Raiders.
yeah. You know, where are they? You know.
Well,
So I mean, you got
the Viking Raiders. You know, he out having one of them. Eric, what is that? Eric out having a baby with Sarah Logan. So you know,
Oh, they've had that baby. They should have had that baby already.
Yeah, but that baby getting big, man. But you know, you want to stay home for a little bit. I get that. But the cinematic match that the Viking Raiders and Street Profits put on. I called that match of the year last year. That was my match of the year. That was my tag team match of the year. Not many agreed with me, but it was hilarious. But it was also fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you be that creative with the women? If you can't get creative, let them get creative. But when all else fails, go back into the archives and say, you know what? This worked before. Let's do this, but put a little spin on it. Because that's pretty much all you're doing. You're recycling storylines already. Because if you pay attention enough, you've seen the storyline before.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for everybody. That goes for AEW, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, Impact. It doesn't matter. NWA, you've seen the storyline before. But it's just got a new school twist on it. Do the same thing for the women. Start putting these women back in the driver's seat. Don't only celebrate them during Women's History Month. That's about bad as celebrating us only during Black History Month, but you bury us the rest of the damn year. I'm Black 365 days a year, 12 months, 24 hours a day. My history is not relegated to 1 month. My success is not relegated to 1 month. Give these women a chance. Don't just do it during Women's History Month.
They could have taken a show. They could have taken a whole 2-hour NXT and did a gauntlet match with tag teams for that tag team title.
I guess they swear it's not going to work.
And to your point about just putting tag teams together, they seem to have a pretty good history of putting two people together and making a tag team. I mean, look at the Dusty Cup. I mean, you got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe winning the Dusty Cup. Yeah. I mean, Aleister Black and Ricochet winning the, I mean, come on now.
That's one tag team that should have stayed together.
Sorry, guys. Nobody giving respect for that? We're not giving respect for that?
We couldn't see.
The Bar?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, they have the history of throwing two people together in a tag team and making it work.
But now, Aleister Black and Ricochet, that's a tag team that when you brought them up and made them a tag team, and then you added Mustafa Ali, that was a faction right there. And then they had
Aleister Black should have went to Retribution. That would have made he would have been a perfect person to have in Retribution. So what? Actually, Ricochet would be a hell back then. Apollo Crews before he got all African on us. Son of baby, before all that stuff happened.
Why they name that boy that African name, knowing they from Cleveland?
Hey, he got a shout out from the Secretary of South Africa here on Twitter. So I mean, yeah, the secretary of the secretary to the like an ambassador or something, or whoever the high person is in South Africa sent him a tweet congratulating him on bringing his heritage into his gimmick. So yeah, plus the fact, I don't know if either one of y'all know about this or knew about him before he got to WWE, but when he was in the Independents, he was going by the name Uha Nation. And he mentioned the Uha Nation when he did his first promo after he turned. So there you go.
Yeah, it is. All right, D. Well, if we're going to talk about turning, let's turn the corner in our last 7 minutes of the show. Because you guys, wanted to make this a 2 hour special. Y'all ain't have nothing else better to do. Either one of y'all got lives or nothing. Just saying.
Oh, I gotta go over here and watch the rest of Sacrifice that I missed. So yeah, I'll be here for a while.
Last question of the day is: we're truthfully about less than 30 days away and the road to WrestleMania. What are you looking forward to come to fruition, and storylines are starting to merge together to make sense for us to expect what we're going to expect? And I'm not talking about some of the stuff that's going to be fluffed through Fastlane. I'm really talking about the hard-hitting stuff for Mania. What are you looking forward to witnessing at WrestleMania in any capacity? What's got you excited? So, James, I'll go with you first.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing Bobby Lashley coming in as champion. See what ends up happening with him. Is he going to go after? Is he going to go have to wrestle? Is he going to have to wrestle who? Drew McIntyre? Is Brock going to come back? What's going to happen? So, I like to. I'm just happy to see him coming in as champion into WrestleMania.
Okay. What about anything else, James? Or that's your
Yeah,
number one?
that's about it. Everything else is still, kind of in the air. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Roman Reigns. I'm looking to see if they're going to pull off what they're talking about because the rumor. I don't know if y'all heard this, but the rumor is that he's going to drop the Universal Championship and bring back Big Gold.
Really?
Yes, there's actually a picture that's floating around right now with him holding Big Gold.
And what's the purpose for that?
Just saying that it's a better looking belt and it's a belt that he prefers to carry rather than the WWE Universal belt. And just being the head of the table and something that he wants to do, and he can do anything he wants to, being the head of the table. Why not?
Well, that would be a nice little slap in the AEW face, so to speak, in reference to y'all doing all this retro. Ha, we got y'all. We're gonna bring back Big Sexy. Okay. What about you, KG? What stuff is starting to tickle your fancy retro WrestleMania wise as things are shaping up?
I know for a fact because I heard from a trusted source we're going to see Stone Cold. Stone Cold. He's in the building. Stone Cold. I'm bullshitting. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
But
I
no,
wouldn't doubt him being there. I mean,
he'll be in the building, but will he be in action? No.
No, he won't be in action. I mean, they'll probably do something. He introduces us. He got a segment or something. Hit somebody with a Stone Cold Stunner, just like he always does. Same thing. Why not?
But I'm looking forward to same thing with James. Of course, I want to see Bobby Lashley. I mean, that just feels good. It feels right. But what I'm expecting is, and I can't remember what wrestling group I was in, and it was a guy. He said, "Man, I've been waiting for Lashley versus Brock for the longest, and I think I'm close to getting it." I wouldn't doubt if Lashley goes in, has a great match against McIntyre, anybody. I don't give a shit who. Bring anybody in there. I mean, hell, throw the washing machine, the kitchen sink at him. I don't care. But either way, he has a great match, and then Brock shows up, and they go at it, and like that's just that's part of the build up. But then we actually get a good 30 minutes from them when they actually get in the ring. They actually give a 30-minute match. and beat the hell out of each other. I've been waiting to see that since about 2008, 2009. And I've said it on this show plenty of times. Physically, Lashley is the only man that physically stacks up against Brock Lesnar. Lashley 6'3", Brock 6'4". Brock's 330, Lashley's 325. Lashley has the military training, Brock has the cage training, but Lashley also has the cage training. So, like I said last week, put the octagon up and let him go for it. And then once you let him go for it, just move out the way. Ain't no scripting. Let him go for it. And then maybe you might script the end. And then also you got your tie in the UFC. You making them a little money. That's what I expect. That's what I'm geeked up because I think I'm going to get it. I think I'm going to get a return of the man that's sitting behind you, their People's Choice Don Rodriguez. I think I'm going to get a return of Brock, but it's not going to be that bullshit that he normally do. But it's going to be something like he returns. He's got Heyman with him, but Heyman's going to manage Brock and Roman. And they're both going to be champions, and they're going to be fighting champions. They're going to be kicking everybody's ass.
And CM Punk.
Hey, if you can write a big enough check and get him to come back, because UFC ain't where it's at for him. But if you can get him in there, do it.
Okay, three things.
Yes, sir.
One, if they bring back Brock and they have a 5-minute smash match against Brock Lashley and beats Lashley, you two will be the only ones talking about WWE from now on because I will stop watching. Period. Point blank. Two, there's rumors going around right now that Heyman is talking about picking up a female wrestler to add to Roman Reigns. Who do you think it'll be?
Bianca Belair.
No. Well, that'd be nice, but she'd have to. I don't know. I mean,
but she's good on the mic by herself.
Yeah, I'd say Tamina since she changed her outfit.
You like that, don't you?
You saw that?
No, you know what? I take it one further. I say it's gonna be Nia.
Shayna Baszler would be my pick.
I say Nia because what you say about Nia, she's got everything except that mic skill, so she needs a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I agree, but it would be overshadowed. Shayna Baszler has that killer instinct. She has that look. It could be played off really well. And
did you see that restraint right there?
Huh?
Did you see that restraint right there?
Yeah.
I restrained myself.
She would compliment Roman well. So that would be my first choice. Bianca would be a second, but I don't think she needs Heyman. She just needs to win the champion.
And that's coming soon. That's going to come before the summer.
Okay, I'm not really sure who it is. My first thought would be Lacey Evans, being that she would be coming back from her pregnancy, and she had that thing. She had that little rub with Ric Flair. So I would kind of put her in there. I'm not saying it'll be a good fit. I'm just saying because they don't necessarily have to be a good fit, but I'm just saying that she would probably need something coming back into WWE after being out for so long. Hell, it could be Becky Lynch. We don't know, but I was just putting that out there. Now, the third thing, you were talking about CM Punk. Now, there is a new show that's coming on Stars here that they're in final production of doing their editing and everything, called Heels, and it's a wrestling show with Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be two brothers. It's supposed to be about two brothers who take over a wrestling promotion from their father. Stephen Amell is supposed to be a heel, and his brother's supposed to be a babyface wrestling, and it's supposed to go through what they're supposed to go through trying to keep the organization together and their matches and things and everything going on. Now they're supposed to have a whole bunch of different wrestlers that are going to be involved, and CM Punk has been included in that list. So that'll be something to look for here in the near future on Stars to check out. See if this parlays into something else for CM Punk.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't do it this year because you wouldn't get the yield that you want. But I wouldn't be surprised if next year's Hall of Fame, or give or take the year after, would include CM Punk.
Has he done enough in WWE to be in the WWE Hall of Fame? Now, Wrestling Hall of Fame, yes. But WWE, has he done enough in WWE?
What I say about the Hall of Fame? It's a what?
A cash grab.
And if you're recuperating, even though they're not like hurting for money, since they don't have the overhead that they had and expenses this year, so all they're doing outside of Thunderdome is just pure profit. Truthfully, if you want to get 75,000 people in a venue and sell out, in record pacing time in 10 minutes or less, what better name to put into the Hall of Fame? Who's going to induct them? Paul Heyman. That's your co-headliner, if not the headliner. I mean, he helped change the facet of the industry with the pipe bomb and everything else. I mean, that's one of those decisions where you have to start leveraging your abilities against AEW. Because as AEW continues to build momentum, the ratings they've already got, but now they have to create the depth and the storytelling and the forward-thinking longevity to properly utilize these long-term contracts or multi-year contracts with Sting, Paul White, Christian, Thunder Rosa, their agreements and everything with New Japan and stuff like that. They've got to work that out. And what better way to say, gotcha, we're going to push you back a couple pegs than to do something nobody would expect and induct CM Punk into the Hall of Fame.
Plus, he's multiple-time world champ. He's multiple-time WWE champion.
Oh, I mean, he's done enough.
Multiple-time tag champion. So,
put money in the seats. And you can have Heyman or John Cena or Rey Mysterio and induct him, any one of those. Or
even Heyman. Heyman, because Heyman was the one who pushed for him in the beginning.
Time for Heyman to go in. It's also about time before he, not wishing it on him or anything like that. It's about time for them to push for McMahon to go in. So that way, you can have that. That's going to put butts in the seats because the old time is almost gone. And truthfully, outside of Triple H going in solo, and a very select few of people, Vince is the ultimate one of that old, we'll say 70s, 80s generation that is left to go in. And you would really want to do that before he dies. You don't want to put him in there posthumously because that would be, in my opinion, a disservice to his legacy. I would rather hear from him during the Hall of Fame than hear recounts of him. But we'll see. But I just wanted to put it out there that if that was me and I was going to make a power move, oh yeah, I'd show them that I'm willing to extend the hand. Maybe not to you, Tony Khan, but I'm willing to extend a hand to the poison, so to speak, as Vince called it when he was bringing the NWO in to kill his own thing, his own creation. Bring the poison back in and just say, here, there's the hot mic. You got it. Do what you're going to do.
You remember when they put that in the SmackDown game storyline?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I was always The Rock, so I could go off and film a movie, so I didn't have to deal with it.
So just to wrap up, because we've already crossed the 2 hour mark. So James getting tired. KG got to get himself together for Sunday Rise. As we got a lot of still moving and shaking going on. I know you haven't talked about Dak and all his monies.
Oh yeah, we covered that already.
As
We broke
Dak
it down, and
parade into Alice.
let it all be known that it's not going. There is no Super Bowl championship as long as Jerry Jones is in charge. Thank you.
Well, what we need to find out is there going to be a two-peat from the GOAT?
Hey, you just signed a 4-year extension.
Is it gonna happen? And if it doesn't happen, is that gonna diminish him from the GOAT? Wouldn't it be interesting if he lost, but he lost to Mahomes, and then all they're doing is ping ponging each other until he retires between the two? But then again, it could be some other people like a Lamar Jackson.
I'm hoping that's what I want. I need Lamar to win.
Well, you guys got that stuff to cover, plus a little NBA action and other things. So my 3 things, believe it or not, that I'm interested in, that's ticking my radar in the back of my neck for what's getting me excited. This Bianca Sasha situation is getting me excited, not so much for the match, but for the Hollywood style vignettes that's going to be coming down the pike leading up to it. I can't wait to see what the production team is going to come up with from the story of young Bianca, which they've already done stuff, but how they're going to whittle that in and then mash everything together between her and then Sasha and all the accomplishments and build up and all that. It's going to be an epic sizzle reel to see exactly what they're going to put together. So that's the first thing. What I'm hoping happens for my second thing would be Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan that night for one of the main events, whatever one it's going to be. But truthfully, the number one thing that I'm hoping is the springboard to get things back rolling for the WWE is going to be fans and their reactions, because I am tired of the piped in audio. I'm tired of them creating what they think is creating the character or creating the situation, and it's just not natural sounding. And then I go to AEW and I'm just whisked away to Neverland almost, because it just sounds so organic. And even at Revolution with the almost 1,000 people that they had, not 45,000, just almost 1,000, the audio was so entrancing that it just sounds better, period, on Dynamite than what happens, and some of that maybe the wrestlers around the ring, but still it just sounds better. So having fans and the organic reactions to everything that they do, and to see the superstars play off of and react to what the fans are chanting, I think is going to change the direction and show the powers that be what's supposed to happen. Because if they are burying somebody or not putting them in there, but the fans are behind them just instantaneously and popping off everything that they do, you could make somebody. You could give Peyton Royce that opportunity, instead of them just pleading their cases on Talking Smack or Raw Talk, and it just goes on deaf ears. Hell, they could be cheering Sami Zayn when he comes out. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen, but I think, and I'm hoping that they are prepared and open to pay attention to what will come out of the fans' interaction for these 2 nights. So that's my 3 things. James, look like you want to say something.
Prediction, not a prediction, but a spoiler. They add Jericho to the 21 Hall of Fame. He comes out during WrestleMania to Judas.
Actually, I have him come out to both. I'd have the lead in to break down the walls, and then it would transition into Judas. But I can see Jericho.
just start blasting Judas. Why even go into the break? Well, okay.
Just the beginning,
have the countdown in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, yeah.
And then you go. But yeah,
You
that
45,000 people singing Judas, and he's in the middle of the ring, just like, yeah.
But that'd be another one of those power moves. Why the heck not? You can't ignore what he's done, and it's competition and everything else. But you may not extend a hand for us to do cross promotional. But why not induct him to still overshadow what they're he'll go in. He'll do it. And that it's good for everybody. That's one of those people like, why would you not induct him into your Hall of Fame? Period. You put Warrior in, you put Macho in, despite all the rumors and everything else, it's a no-brainer. And it's your fault that he's gone. Vince, it's your fault that he's gone. He just asked for a little bit more time to do his Fozzy thing. You was like, no, you need to come back and you got to do this. And like, I don't need to do nothing. These people just offer me some money, but all I'm asking for, Vince, is just a time to do what I want to do with the Fozzy and the cruise. But no, okay, I'm out. Same thing with Bret Hart. That was Bret Hart round 2. Thankfully, nobody dropped down out of the rafters. Bret's own heart, soul. Again, there's another person that can go into the Hall of Fame that will pack the seats
If his wife allows.
instantaneously. Hey, these days, money talks. And after the year we've had, I'm gonna cut you one hell of a check. We're still looking if they find a place in Florida to put this physical Hall of Fame. We're gonna create a wing and dedicate it to him. The Owen Hart wing, and that's going to be what's going to have all the Hart family dynasty. I mean, everything, whatever you want, we got it. Here you go. Sometimes you just got to say right is right, wrong is wrong, eat the crow, apologize, and let it be what it's going to be before Bret dies. Period. Because there's only one person inducted. So that's another one. Putting butts in the seats, make the money all day long. So, any thoughts before we round the bend and let these people go? KG, James? I know we'll give them a send off about their financial status in a minute, but you guys got anything else?
Well, I'm just gonna close it out. I mean, that's the only thing I got. You got anything, James?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it.
Well, of course, you can always hear us right here, Anchor, YouTube, TuneIn, Podchaser, Podtail, Spotify, Podbean, Owltail, iHeartRadio, Radio, hey, Owltail. Don't ask. It's just what we're on. iHeartRadio,
Thank you,
Radio
Hightail.
Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, the podcast app, Hubhopper, Castbox, and of course Google Play, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all of them. And tonight's show is sponsored by Helen Hunt Motors. It's only one location, so it's near you. You want low prices, low finances, great selection? Go to Helen Hunt for it. All right, gentlemen.
Where's Helen Hunt at?
It's only one location. It's near you.
You. I love it. I'll be checking them out. Is that helenhunt.com? Is it? You have a website?
Whatever you're looking for, go to Helen Hunt for it.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm serious. I'm gonna look it up.
Check them out. That's our wonderful sponsors.
I need me a new ride. So if they're good enough for us,
indeed.
They're good enough for James. If they're good enough for James, then they are by me.
Yeah, the chauffeur that y'all got for me in my contract, we need a new car. So yeah, we're gonna check her out.
I thought we
see what's up.
Bicycle.
What?
Bicycle.
Bicycle? No.
Bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
Okay, hold on now. We you know, don't get us cut off and whatnot. You know how they do on Facebook. We do not own the rights to that song.
Yes, we do not. But we're gonna sing it for about 30 seconds. That's about all we can do,
That's
right,
why I didn't
KG?
go far. I didn't go far. Didn't go far.
You went far enough.
No, we're covered. We're covered. But you know, I was being quiet when Tina was getting the private dancer.
I'm your private dancer. Dancer for money. It's time to go to bed, man.
And we don't own the rights to that song either.
You're right.
It's time to go to bed. It's time to go to bed.
So
Y'all been getting on some tangents tonight for real. I don't know.
no,
We need to call this a tangent show.
You went on 8 hours worth of tangent. So I guess there's nothing else to say but diversify your bonds. Hey, that was a horrible Muppet moment. Let's try that again. Take two. Oh, there it is. Wait a minute. Hold on. Get in there. Get in the shot. Diversify your bond, bitches. Much better. Much better. Jim Henson will be proud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Lord.
I diversified the bonds. Go ahead and lay your things in. Wu-Tang forever.
I'm not going to embarrass the Wu-Tang Clan tonight after that debauchery.
No konnichiwa.
No konnichiwa tonight. No, not after that.
Well, for the young kids, that should be
RZA and Jizza gonna be like, the whole hell is that?
I have no idea.
What brand of fuckery is this?
I can tell you it's about to get even worse. So for all the young kids that should be asleep, but you up late listening or watching us, we appreciate you. Make sure you ring the bell, like, subscribe, follow, stalk, do deliveries at Jordan Grace House with KG. You know, all that stuff. So that way we continue to bring this wonderful YouTube and pod whatever cast thingy you're listening to us on.
Like, subscribe. What's the other one?
So the other thing we don't own is Baby Shark, baby.
God.
It's time to go to bed.
Hey,
Good
look.
night.
Make everybody turn their clocks back tonight. Don't be late to go into work tomorrow.
Let's do James. Grandpa Shark,
Remix. Fuck you, Don. Fuck you, Don. Fuck you, Don. Fuck you, Don.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. I didn't get one last week, so I feel great.
You haven't got one all year.
Oh.
Yes.
And just like that, our time has come to say goodbye to all my wrestling friends. Bye bye. Bye bye. Good night, everybody.